girl Serena, the Ninth Moon Goddess. Hope you all have had a blessed, prosperous week thus far. So, today we're going to talk about ancestor veneration, but we're going to talk about ancestor veneration, and I got a little story time for y'all, okay? So, let me go ahead and get these candles lit. Litty. We about to get litty, because when I'm doing this story time, I want y'all to chime in and comment and tell me if you have ever experienced something like what I'm about to describe, okay? So, and y'all know how I tell y'all to keep hobbies and to do things that you're not usually doing, do things that you used to do when you were younger that used to be fun and all of that good stuff. Well, I don't just talk a lot, preach a lot. I do a lot of this stuff. So I'm not a painter by far, but painting relaxes me, okay? It's just fun. It reminds me of my childhood. It allows me to be free. And also when I go back and look at my paintings, I can kind of see where my mind is subconsciously and what was going on. So I'm not painting to get the right colors mixed together or to make something so fancy and beautiful that, you know, I'm gonna put it up on an auction block or anything, but just to have fun. All right, so y'all gonna sit here and create with me. So this video, we're gonna talk about ancestor veneration, right? Ancestor veneration and why it is important. It is not ancestor worship. It is about remembering and feeding and repairing and cleaning up your own bloodline, okay? Because that's something we all need to be doing. There's all been tragedies and, you know, mistakes made that it's like hereditary. It comes through the bloodline, like how you can get a skin condition or any type of disease or illness that is hereditary. The same thing with spirituality. If you have people in your bloodline that has done spiritually immoral things, that also can come through your bloodline as well. So we venerate our ancestors not only to remember them, but it's our job and our responsibility to do the work and clean up messes just like other, you know, previous generations should have been doing or have done, okay? So just like how, you know, spiritually, our family can, you know, give us gifts in all of these clairs, clairsentience, clairvoyance, all of those good things. Along with that could come the opposite of that is certain curses, certain blockages and things that, you know, we have to go back and remove. So for me, it's always good when I can get all my family involved to, you know, venerate the ancestors, you know, so that way it won't be so heavy on one person. And when it comes to ancestor veneration and setting up an altar, I get asked a lot, how can I start to set up an ancestor altar? I'm just going to give you the basics in this video. Later on, we can get into more in-depth things. Some people may have a bovada, but that's going into other things. But right now, we're talking about basic things right now. So a few things that you need to venerate your ancestors. And this is not law, because we have to always be willing to work with what we got. And times are hard. Some people might not have the foods and all of these extra things, or some people may not be in a position to do all of this extravagant stuff. So we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna do some basics of what to do to venerate your ancestors if you're in a position to set up an altar. And if you can't, that's perfectly fine. That's okay. So first things first, to set up an ancestor altar, you need a quiet, sacred place just for you. And like I've posted before, you can have traveling altars. So even if you had a small box, like this is just a box I keep a lot of different things in. So even if you had a small box like that, with a tea light candle, a few of your herbs, a few of your gemstones, a few of the things that reminds you of your ancestors, and you pull it out, you know, when you get the opportunity, when you're in a quiet place, when you want to speak to them, you can totally do that, right? So, like I said, it doesn't have to be all big and extravagant, but at least one white candle and some refreshments, preferably always a nice glass of water, okay, out of a clean cup, because water and fire. So fire is like a doorbell. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. Fire is the doorbell to the spirit world. And water also acts as a portal to the spirit world. As, well, some of you may not know, but, you know, water holds memory. So you can speak to water. That's why people say, you know, speak over your water before you drink it. I tell people, you know, if you're a big water drinker like me and I'm watching inappropriate things like scary movies, thrillers, and horror movies, I try not to drink water while I'm taking those kinds of things in because, you know, it's in the water and it'll get in my body, get into my subconscious. Okay, so a candle, some libations, and some things, you know, the elements from this earth, you know, so water, fire, earth, and air. So maybe a incense. I don't have any incense going right now. Gemstones for the earth, and something like a feather, things to represent the wind. If you don't have all of these things, that's perfectly fine. The point is, I was going to say the doorbell. So yes, the doorbell, which is the candle, and a cup of libations, some water, so you can speak with your ancestors. Now, a few things when you want to get to talking to your ancestors and you start looking for responses to see if they're there, if they're present, or if they're responding, or what's going on. A lot of people use the water. Some people say, and you can do your own divination however you feel that your ancestors work with you. It was been off and on for me with different things about reading the water on my ancestor altar. I like my water to be clear and calm, no bubbles whatsoever. And the reason why I say that is because, well, for one, my name is Serena, and I like things to be calm. If I start to see a lot of bubbles, you know, the little tiny bubbles, and it's just looking really frantic and things, I feel like there's a lot of activity going on. There's like an uproar. It might even be chaos. Now, that's how I read my water. So if there's a bunch of little bubbles, I'm like, they're very, very active. And like, why are y'all so active? Are you fighting? Are you trying to warn me of something? So I look at the little bubbles as warnings, whereas a lot of people just look at the bubbles as excitement and saying that the ancestors are present, and that's a good sign. And that's totally fine. You can absolutely do that, however you choose to look at it. But like I said, for myself, when I see the little tiny bubbles, I feel there is some chaos going on. So like I said, I like for my ancestor glass of water to be calm and clear. I do watch to make sure that they are partaking and drinking, and the levels of the water are decreasing. Now, yes, a lot of this could be science, and yes, when you leave water and things out, but science and spirituality are like this as far as I'm concerned. They go hand in hand, right? So, but yes, those are the few things that I like to look at. Also, when you light your candle, I like to look at the candle flame. I like to read the candle flame. Is it doing like this? Is it dancing? Is it going to the left? Is it going to the right? Is it fanning towards me? Is it going backwards? Is it splitting in two? All of those things matter. Like I said, when you become more familiar with reading your candles and your water and sitting in silence, that's why I say try to spend at least 5 minutes per day, you know, spending time with your ancestors so y'all can get used to the kind of things that y'all, you know, so you can get used to the kind of way you all choose to communicate. Also, I told y'all I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just having fun painting. So also, you decide with your ancestors how you want to divine, okay? Because y'all all know I'm big on learning things yourself. Like, I will give you suggestions and guidance and give you things that I like to do, but essentially, I really want you all self-sufficient, because I do not want you who are connected to me or hear my voice or on the other side of these videos to think that you have to continually run to social media and listen to so many different random ideals about spirituality. I want you to get used to doing it on your own, because what I practice may be way different, and how I read things may be way different from what you're used to, and everybody has their own way. So I just really want you to get to know yourself. Get to know yourself, okay? I want you to be spiritually independent. Serena's not going to be around forever, okay? Ninth and Moon, I pray that Ninth and Moon is around forever, and everybody that, needs Ninth and Moon will be. But Serena herself, I am a spiritual nomad, right? I am a spiritual nomad. So I'm the type of person who here today, gone tomorrow. So I want you to be self-sufficient, okay? So moving along. Divination, doing your own form of divination with your ancestors. So get to learn that. And that's just like a few things I learned with reading my Ancestor Altar Water. The other great thing about Ancestor Altar Water is it is holy water. Yay! So the only way, so boiling the hell out of water is not the only way to get holy water, okay? You can absolutely, I wouldn't recommend drinking the water, but I use holy water for spiritual baths. I use holy water for making different products, so on and so forth. So you have holy water. Sometimes they like herbs, certain kinds of herbs in their water. And I'll put herbs in their water, all kinds of things. But that comes with time, after spending time with your ancestors and seeing what they like, okay? But that's a lot of beautiful things that you can do with your ancestor water. So moving along, let's jump into the story time, okay? Because I can't be here all night. So story time. Wait for it. Wait for it, wait for it. And I want somebody to reach out to me. If you have ever experienced this, I want you to reach out to me and let's chit and chat about this thing here, okay? I don't have any children right now in this lifetime. I'm not barren. I've had one miscarriage. I just haven't bore any children. And to be honest, I'm really thankful when I think back about the men that I was choosing. And I'm kind of thankful I did not bear their children. Not because they were bad people, but the relationship didn't work. And I'm sure a child would not have made the relationship any better, right? So anywho, I was in a deep sleep, a sleep deeper than my normal sleep. And y'all, this dream. My children from a previous life, I could tell they had venerated me. They were conjuring me. They needed me to speak to them. Me in this life went to see my children in another life where obviously I was dead. And let me tell you something. We met at a park. Now, I don't know specifically why we met at this park, why it was specific for the children, why it was imperative for me to meet them at this park. But it was a secluded park, and I remember almost like the monkey bars, but it's like round, like the big round thing that you can climb on and hang and swing from. It was yellow and blue, and it was a slide. And my children were grown. Now my daughter, she was the eldest, and she looked at the time, maybe she was like mid-30s. And her younger brother, my youngest son, looked maybe like he was his mid-20s. And they were both waiting for me to come to meet them by the monkey bar so that they could talk. And they was telling me, and they told me their names and everything. And I'm not gonna, that's for me, that's private. They told me their names and everything. So I myself in my sleep had a past life regression. That's what I thought. But come to find out, my children were venerating me. They were reaching out to me because in that life, I was dead. My children were reaching out to me because in that life, they were dead. I was dead, and they wanted to talk to me. And so it was some things that I needed to fix for my children in that realm in that lifetime. And that's why I always tell y'all, energy does not die. It does not die. That's why we venerate our ancestors. It lives on. And it blew my mind when I woke up, because it's like, how did I clash? Like, how was I able to feel my children pulling on me in this lifetime, and I was dead in that one? Totally blew my mind. So anywho, yes, I was talking to my children. They had an issue they needed me to fix. They were missing me, and I got the situation handled, right? It took a lot out of me. It took a lot out of me in this realm, physically in this realm. It was unreal. But that's when I really began to realize how important it is to venerate our ancestors, and how they are still here for us, and they fight for us, and that they're not just dead in the ground, but their energy lives on. They are still active somewhere else. See, my children don't know that I am living this life and talking to this camera and talking to you all, and I have this whole life going on. They don't know that. But they knew that they could call on my spirit and I would be there. They called on my spirit so strongly that I feel like I wasn't just sleeping or resting. I was knocked the fuck out so that they could pull on me, get my attention, so I could attend to them. Y'all, are y'all getting what I'm putting down? I was dead. I'm dead in another life. I have children still living in that life that knows that their mother is dead. And I had a totally different name. They needed me. They called me. They were venerating me. Me in this lifetime went to sleep, met up with them. They told me their issue, and I've been working on it ever since. That's how important venerating your ancestors is. That's how real it is. That's how real it is. It blew my mind. What was scary about it, though, y'all, no lie, what was scary about the whole thing, when I woke up, right, I guess you could say it was kind of like I was coming to, and my spirit dropped back into my body. And when I say drop back into my body, I mean drop back into my body. Those hang gliders, or those the people with the parachutes. And like when they jump out of planes and they fall and their parachute don't open and they just fall and hit the ground. That's what my body felt like. That's what my spirit felt like coming back into my body. When I woke up, I thought I was in a state of psychosis. I was so scared. I thought I was going to have to go to the mental hospital, because it took me about 20 to 30 minutes to come to realize, to get back to my normal life, this life here. So I thought I was in a state of psychosis. And y'all know I studied psychology. So even though I go through these things and I can name these things that's happening to me, it still doesn't stop them from happening. If that makes sense. Like, even though I know the name of it, doesn't mean, it stops me from going through it. And psychosis is so close to spiritual awakenings. So I was like, is it psychosis, or is it a spiritual awakening, or is my body just trying to acclimate back to my flesh and my soul that's here, because it obviously went on a journey, right? So yes, I woke up in a state of psychosis. I'll just say that, and it took me a long time. 30 minutes seemed like 30 days, trying to come to and get my life back in order and remember what had just happened to me, try to figure it out and make a game plan on how I was going to help my children who were venerating me from another life, and they needed my help. Wild, right? So that's why it's important to venerate your ancestors. In this reality, in this 3D world, on this earth, yes, they may be dead and gone, but energy doesn't die. Energy doesn't die. So they are very live and well in other places, hence me. I'm live and well and speaking to you, dead to my children. But they needed me and they reached out to me. And I ain't gonna lie, that's some powerful shit. It blew my mind. So, it was beautiful. Now that I sit back and I think about it and I'm talking about it, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. So that's the power of venerating your ancestors. They will hear you. They will heed your call. But it's up to you to develop that relationship. You have to develop that relationship. And simple enough, a glass of water, and a candle. And I keep looking over this way because I have an ancestor altar this way, and I'm also watching the flame. So if y'all see me eyeing and looking this way, that's what I'm doing. And I'm watching to make sure, because I'm not a big storyteller. You know, all of this is new to me. Speaking to people publicly about things like this part is new to me. I'm such an introvert and such a loner. This is new to me. So as y'all are growing, I am also growing with you and learning new things. That's why we need each other. No man is an island, right? No man is an island, but like I said before, that's why it's also important that you learn your own methods and your own ways so you don't get carried away in everybody else's ideologies and ideals or ways that they feel it should be. I still have my own mind, no matter where I'm at or what I'm doing. I don't care how I'm looked at, good or bad. I will always have my own mind, right? So, yes, that is my story about ancestor veneration and why it is important. So that's weird. You know, I was messing up with what I was saying, and then my dog started, you know, as you can hear, the spirits moving around in this house. There's nothing outside. So anyway, yes, I hope y'all have enjoyed this video. I'm going to end it there because I listen to signals like that and things like that. I'm called in many, many different directions, and I love it. I love it. So I will give y'all more time. I will give y'all more story times, and we'll go more in depth with this. Y'all want to see my painting? I don't know what it is. It's neat though. It's neat though. And I realized I don't have any yellow. I really wanted some yellow in this picture. But anywho, I love y'all. We'll come back next video and we're gonna go deeper into this ancestor veneration thing and the amazing things that happen when you uplift your ancestors. Because the other part, you know, you can't just call on all your ancestors because all your ancestors are not good. You know, if you have murderers, rapists, pedophiles, all types of bad people in your family, you don't want them coming to you, you know, as a spirit to help you do shit, you know, because if they were terrible in that life, they're, you know, they still ain't shit more than likely in the other life. You know, it's possible that they turn their life around, but we don't have time to try to figure that out. Just let them do what they do, okay? So yes, that's important, very, very important when it comes to ancestor veneration. You do not want to call on every single one of your ancestors. You want to call on your anointed, your blessed ancestors, your uplifted, your elevated ancestors, your most, you know, clear ancestors, the ones that speak clearly and can come through. But that's also why we feed them, we give them food to give them energy to be stronger so they can hear us and we can communicate. We give them things that they like. It may be tobacco smoke, it may be alcohol, things like, hey, okay, this is what gets me going. The same thing that you like, they like. You know, you don't want to overdo it. I would say be careful if you have a family of alcoholics or ancestors that, you know, passed away of alcoholism and things like that. You know, this is why it's important to do divination and get to know your ancestors. And also, I do a lot of divination at my ancestor altar, asking them about life moves, what I should be doing, how I should pivot. You know, should I date this person? Is that worth my time? All of that good stuff. So we're going to get more in depth with that. I'm going to go ahead and end this video, see what's walking around my house, either in it or outside of it. All right. So I will get with you all next time. See you later. Bye.